Welcome back to New Who HQ. I am Matt, and this is my review of the second Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials, Wild Blue Yonder, the one that we've had probably the least amount of, spoilers from, coverage. Complete mystery going into this. Some people are thinking, multi-Doctor Who stories. There's none of that. And I'll tell you what, it took me a while to think about what I thought about it. So how I do my reviews is, just quickly, I basically give my positives and my negatives. It's not in order, but that's just how I review things, okay? In terms of the plot, I'm sure you will know about it because you would have watched the episode, so I'm not going to get into that. But I'm going to go into my positives, I'm going to go into my negatives. Overall thoughts, firstly, I wasn't sure when I finished it. I thought about it a bit more, let it process in my mind. And I really like it. I really, really like it. It's not what I expected, to say the least, but with Doctor Who you never quite know what to expect. If I had to say it gave me a vibe of a Doctor and Donna story, I would say Midnight vibes. So a positive for this, or one of the main things, is that this is just a Doctor and Donna story. And obviously they had their time together in the Star Beast, but there's a lot more going on, a lot more characters involved in this. It was basically just them two for most of the episode. We'll get into who came back at the end. Someone quite special, but it was mainly them two for majority of the episode, and it felt a bit like season 4, to be honest with you, but just with a higher budget, better CGI, and a little bit of older actors. Apart from that, it felt very much quite the same. Honestly, it was terrifying, and it gave me the Midnight vibe. I really like that the Doctor and Donna have their own episode here, because they needed that time to reconnect, which they got in the first episodes, and this episode just felt like normal. It felt like, they've had their catch up, they're all back to normal now, let's go on an adventure just like we sort of used to. And even though it didn't feel nostalgic, their interactions with each other and just how they were, how they dealt with situations, I thought was really, really good and really nostalgic, which is kind of what we want. I'm actually I was sad that no Doctors reappear, because I'm not expecting a multi-Doctor story every anniversary, but I feel like it would have been nice to maybe bring Matt Smith back. I did do a video of people I want back, which you can go and check out. And obviously there is still the final special, but I feel like having this story meant that now old characters could come back, but to have their time together felt really, really good. They were witty, they were still comedic, they still had what they had, which we grew to love back in, season 4. Now this isn't such a negative, but the reason I was a little bit iffy about the episode, I didn't like the start. It was very, very, very slow paced. And I understand we just come off quite a fast paced episode, so it was nice to have a bit more slow pace, adds to the mystery side of things. I do get that. But after about 10-15 minutes, I was starting to get a bit like, right, okay, I want something more now. It was starting to get a little bit boring. I think now I look at the whole as an episode, I'm like, I completely get why they did that. It builds up the suspense and it works with what happens later on in the episode. And we start to see something weird happening when they're both in different rooms, and obviously I just thought it was the way it was being filmed, where they were doing it at different times, but sometimes shows just do that where they're having conversation at different times, but it's rolling along in the edit as if it's happening in real time. But then when it turns out that they were starting to be a little bit weird and everything started to get a bit quiet, people weren't acting how they should be, and then obviously there was 2 of them each, I was like, okay. Something's not right here. And then, I don't know what I was expecting after that. I was not expecting parts of their bodies to enlarge. If this was on at 9 o'clock in the evening, this could have gone either way of what they decided to enlarge, but, sorry, that's just my really dirty mind, ignore that comment. But, it was, the effects of the arms, they were fantastic. I did watch Doctor Who Unleashed, if you've watched that, about how they do it. And it's so clever, but it looks so real, and I thought that was fantastic. It was downright terrifying. It gave me, I don't know why it gave me Silence in the Library vibes. I feel like it was just them sort of being in this big place and not really know what's going on, and Midnight as well. It had the feeling of Series 4 the most here, which I really like, because, I feel like the Star Beast felt like old Doctor Who, what we used to like around David Tennant time. This felt like a proper Series 4. This could have slotted into Series 4 and been fine. I really like, yet again, we see more of the Doctor's emotions. Again, I've seen a lot of people thinking that the 10th Doctor, David Tennant is basically the 10th Doctor, and he is. There's a lot of similarities, but I see more differences in this second one. The way he is with Donna, the deep conversations they have, I think that's fantastic. I think, talking about Gallifrey and opening up about what they know each other. You know, that question where they're trying to find out who is who and they're asking them deep questions. That really made it click for me, and it really made me remember why I love them and why they suit each other so well. Really like the Flux reference as well that we got in some way, like near the end of the episode sort of thing, talking about Flux and the, you know, parts of the universe were destroyed. That was great because obviously Russell did say he was going to put that in, but a lot of people were thinking just leave that out because it was an absolute mess. But he managed to give it, you know, not too much airtime, but a little bit of an explanation, which kind of made sense. But I really like the design. The designs were great. You know, the whole thing with the TARDIS was quite funny. There's a lot of funny moments in it, but there's also a lot of serious moments in it. You know, we saw their emotions when they weren't together, when they lost each other, when they were trying to find each other in the tunnels. You know, this was a purely Doctor and Donna story, out and out, and it smashes it. It brings you back to 2000. When was Series 4? 2009? I may have got that wrong. 2008? I can't remember. It was around that time. While giving it a modern, with move forward look, which is fantastic. And a quick little speak about the end, because we were all waiting for it. We saw him at the filming location, so it wasn't unexpected, but some people worried he wouldn't make the final cut because, you know, he did pass away after he filmed the scenes not long after, so we didn't know if obviously it would have fitted, but it did. And just to see, I had a tear in my eye, I will not lie to you. It makes me feel a bit sad thinking about it, also thinking now that he had actually gone. I mean, he passed away last year, it's so long ago, but it was such a short scene, but it felt so special and it really lifts the episode up. Apart from that, I think what I would have... See, this is a really twisted thing for me to think, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to say I would have, at the end, where I thought that Donna was going to die, Russell teased, he loves a good tease. Honestly, my heart was in my mouth at this point. I thought, she's going to die. The slow motion of the fire coming towards her, the music, Murray Gold, don't even get me started on him. I praised him so much. I can't praise him anymore because he's that special. I thought this was her end. But I thought that when the wrong Donna got on the TARDIS and they went to go and see Wilf, I saw someone say that, you know, imagine if Wilf said that's not my Donna and then the episode ends. That would be such a twisted way. But no, they went with the nicer version. This was not Donna's death. I do worry that maybe he's teasing us because I feel like Russell's had a history of sort of teasing up someone's death to the point where they look like they're about to die, then they survive, and then the next episode she could die. I will not be shocked if it happens. I'm not mentally prepared. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with the fact that it's the last episode next week and I have to see Tennant regenerate. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Loved it. I would give it a solid 9 out of 10, to be honest with you. I can't really compare it to the Star Beast because they're both being very, very different things, and they are very much standalone stories, which I kind of like. There's not really a sort of, there is a little bit of ongoing stories going on, obviously, but, you know, the main story is very, very different, which I quite like. So yeah, really, really liked it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear about it. Let's be nice though, people. Had a few people making comments that weren't very nice in my last review, so please keep it nice. Otherwise, I'll just remove your comment because I can't be asked to talk to you, to be honest with you. Go and rave about it on Twitter like all of you lot normally do. But I will speak to you all very, very soon for the third review. Might do a video midweek, and yes, see you for the giggle.